Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Justin of Heshy show. I'm feeling good, even though we started our show again this week late, but it's good because we only started 5 minutes late, not 10 minutes late. And I want to welcome my co-host and good-looking friend Ezra Levy back. How are you, attorney at law?
I'm doing great. How are you,
You
Heshy?
know, I missed you last week.
I missed you too. I'm sorry I'm going to miss you next week also.
I know, and I want you to know, congratulations on moving into your new house.
Thank you.
But even though there's no heat, no hot water, the house is flooded.
We got the heat up and we have the hot water. So now let's work on the flooding.
Thanks to, as she say it.
Thanks to the green line.
I know. Okay, but that's a good one. Very good. You get $2 for that.
All right. We get a discount?
Wow, a year of suffering of hearing you complain. I couldn't believe it. Last night, he calls me in the middle of the night. I don't have our water. I said, it's the middle of the night.
Actually, it was 9 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
I don't know. You're very nocturnal these days.
I don't know what I am, where I am. I don't sleep at night during the day. But the producer's going to get the computer on. He promised. I think he's hiding. You're listening to the Justin of Heshy show. My beautiful, gorgeous, wonderful father of 5. Wow, I got it right. I finally got it right. And I want you to know, Ezra, you're just a good guy. We missed you last week. We had Christopher Messi on the show.
Oh, really? Miss Chris.
Yeah, I hope he calls again. He was really good, and he was a great co-host. You know, he's smarter than me, so what can I tell you?
That's not hard to do.
Oh, wow, I hate you. But, we're going to talk about so many different things this week, from de Blasio running for Congress, my God, to the gun control law. I mean, Canada said no more guns allowed. Is that allowed?
Well, again, this is the same thing when Canada decided to suspend any free speech rights a few months ago. Canada is not bound by the United States Constitution.
But Canada is bound by the
whatever the
by
Parliament
England.
decides.
England.
No, it's a free country. It's wherever it decides. It has its own parliament. It has its own system.
And can they break their constitution?
Again, if wherever their system of government
But
is.
if a guy becomes a dictator,
well, Trudeau is a dictator.
So then we have to go in there and stop him.
Well, tell it to Biden.
Anyways, that was the pizza I ate. Not good. I shouldn't have eaten pizza. By the way, everybody, I'm down 45 pounds. You know that I look so good.
You're looking much better.
I like you. Yes. I
know
told
you do.
You're a good looking
I know
man.
you do.
He's a smart man. Anyways, we're going to start our show. I have a funny joke. Today I said on my my introduction video, I said we're going to make fun of Linda. I never tell anybody this, but I said I'm going to make fun of Linda and the kids. And Linda calls me up. You're going to make fun of me? I said, Linda, I make fun of you every week.
I guess she's not watching.
No, she's not watching. Anyways, we have Plaza Auto Leasing, one of my favorite leasing places. They're not only a leasing company, but also a dealership. You get both. You get the best of both worlds. The flexibility to lease or buy any vehicle, make or model, combined with quick service, huge inventory, and easy approvals. There's no finance manager to meet with, just a friendly pal sales representative that can handle most of your transactions from start to finish without even having to step a foot in your office. All you have to do is place your order, and they will deliver your car right to your door. What are you waiting for? Become a pal and call Plaza Auto Leasing today. You can reach Plaza Auto Leasing at 718-975-9000. Can you remember that number? No.
Enter 9,000. 975 9,000?
They're paying us.
975 9,000.
Thank God. Ezra.
All right.
Ezra, this is not good, Ezra. Yeah. You can also check out their website at www.plazaautoleasing.com, located at 2750 Nostrand Avenue on the corner of Nostrand Avenue and Avenue N. Call 718-975-9000. Become a pal today, and don't forget to tell them Uncle Heshy sent you. Ezra, now that you moved into a new house, you're going to need a new car.
Yes.
Now, where are you going to go?
That's a good. I'm gonna go Plaza Auto.
Good.
Right.
You see how I had to leave?
That's a good segue.
That's very good. You see, but you almost lost it for a second.
Well,
I would have been upset with you. I would have had to kidnap one of your kids.
I heard you buying me the car as a housewarming gift.
Leasing. I'm broke, Ezra. I'm broke. You know that. Anyway.
Are you sure? I know if I paid you today.
Right. You paid me a lot of money today. I want to give a shout out to my friend, Sergeant Peter, wonderful man. Mira Nava, my delicious granddaughter, who calls me Big H all the time. Layla Tamar and Ellie, my friend. And, of course, Ezra, your beautiful wife and family and kids and all that. They're great. Linda doesn't get a shout out because I'm making a joke about it.
If my wife doesn't listen to the show, so I could joke all over.
Okay,
it's okay.
I know. Melinda doesn't either. I have to bribe. I think this week is the first of the month, right? So it's money week, so she has to listen. But
I mean, she's gonna give you a little money.
she's going to give me some money, right? She said I might be able to buy a suit for the election. But the elections are coming up, and I'm collecting signatures out there. And I know your buddy Simcha Feld is coming after me again, and he's not too bright.
No, I
you,
saw that
you missed
video.
it last week.
I saw you. I saw that TikTok
But it's
video.
but it's not only the video. Many people talk to him, and they're telling me he doesn't give them answers. Now you can say I'm his opponent, but I'm also his constituent,
Right.
and he's got to talk to me instead of praying. Greenfeld this week said, "Oh, we can't just pray for help." I don't know. Simcha Felder, his buddy, keeps praying and hoping that it works. We have so much problem, and we're going to talk about all the crime and the shootings and the rapes, and the building departments are violating us, frivolous violators. And you have to help me, Ezra, because they you're part of one of my cases that they just keep torturing this man, and they never. You got lucky that you moved into the house. This guy has no shot. He's already out 6 months, and he has no shot for a year. And the other day, me and Avram called up an inspector. We threatened him. We said to him, understand, we told you not to walk into our building. We said, we'll let you in if you call us. You came and gave a frivolous violation for ripping off a sign which was never there. You're lying. Your super is mean to me. I said, there's an investigation going on. My son doesn't believe me that there's an investigation going on at the building department, how they're coming after Jewish synagogues or have them on tape calling them porta potties. But they're coming after the Jewish homes. They're attacking us. But not only us.
Didn't they just support Eric Ulrich to take over? Like I think last week, Eric Ulrich was appointed the DOB commissioner.
Right, no experience. It was like right.
But yeah, Eric ran for public advocate as a Republican, almost won, or in his mind almost won, and then he became he became Adams' mouthpiece.
Right. Anyways, if you want to call into the show, 718-289-0070. You can talk to me and Ezra, ask me any questions. 718-289-0070. You should be able to go on our chat, but the chat's not working. Are we going to get the chat working? Oh, he shook his
Our
head.
producer's taking care of it.
Yeah, I got you. He wants a raise. That's what it was. I bought
So
a
do you.
I do want a raise.
All right, so there
you
you
guys
go.
don't want to give me Ezra. I need money.
You too.
This tie is $55.
That's why I don't wear
That's
ties.
my
I can't afford them.
I know, my limit is 55. She cannot go over 55. Anyways, I want to tell you a funny. First of all, I want to tell you a quote, and I posted this quote, and I want you guys to know this is a great quote. I just love it, and I posted it. And I'm going to tell it to you again. We should never forget the Constitution wasn't written to restrain citizens' behavior. It was written to restrain the government's behavior.
Actually, that's you quote a lot of things a lot of times, and half the times it goes over everybody's head. I think this is one of the most important things, and that's why people just don't get it. We have this woke movement in America, and it's basically everything they stand for is against what classic liberalism was. It's against what they actually grew up. Their parents fought for. It's against what we all fought for. The Constitution is a limit on the government's ability to control us. When people and politicians and citizens are willing to, yes, there was these mass shootings. Everybody wants a reaction to it. Everybody wants a solution to it. Giving up the Second Amendment should not be your knee-jerk reaction. I don't own a gun. I don't want to own a gun.
Right.
But it should be our knee-jerk reaction to start giving up our rights. When COVID hit, okay, you don't want. We're telling you can't congregate. You can't. You can't be with your friends. You can't work. You can't. No problem. Let's give up our rights. Once you let the government do that, you're
screwed.
It's a
but
dictatorship.
But you heard what
It's
Trump
a
said. We have
dictatorship.
$40 billion to give to Ukraine and other places, but not enough to control. With $40 billion, we can put enough protection out there to stop a lot of this gun violence.
That's 100%.
But
it's
again,
100%.
we don't care. And Trump is just hitting it on the button.
But you see, this is the thing. As much as Donald Trump is the Republican flag holder, I guess at this point, right? He's the
They're
head of
calling
the
it the Trump party.
Well, he is. But the thing is, at least half of the Republicans don't agree with him. The neocons all want us to be at war because the defense industry is what funds Washington.
No, but I got the defense industry.
So the only way
we need defense in the world. We need defense of America.
America being at war or on the brink of war is what funds a lot of politicians' coffers, and that's what they're concerned about.
Isn't that a shame?
And that's the problem.
And we see it. Everybody in America sees it.
Again, look, we all cry when we see what goes on in the Ukraine to the innocent people.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, I don't think every Ukrainian is innocent, but in the military, they have neo-Nazis. We know about that.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, we all cry when we see that. But America, America has to take care of America first.
Right.
Again, we don't.
And Trump did a great job for 4 years.
And he did a great job for 4 years, and in 11 months, well, it's now 16 months almost.
Market has crashed, trillions of dollars lost. People are struggling.
You know-
Interest rates are high. Gasoline
Do you know? Speaking
at
about gasoline,
$6.
do you know we got a break today for by law?
16 cents.
16 cents. I went today. I couldn't even. I think I paid less last week. So I mean, it's only going up every day.
You're laughing. They're tricking you with your 16
It's
cents.
not. It's 16 cents belong to us.
But it's not only that. They raised your property
Exact- but-
taxes by 8. Now that
Yeah.
you're a property owner,
I know.
No, 18%,
Of
boy.
course.
Do you know what that is? Another $1,500 out of your pocket a year.
I know.
That's a month of school for you, or
It's more than a month of school.
For you, it's like 2 days of groceries.
It's exactly. It's half a week of groceries.
Let me see if we have any questions. Again, somebody says we're not the world police. Somebody says we can't hear anything. Why can't they hear anything, producer?
I think it's because you and I are not yelling tonight.
De Blasio was at the Israel Day celebration and he was shouting. I mean, this guy, let's talk about it. First of all, I want to say my joke of the day.
Go ahead.
I want to say my second quote. Cowards run away and not helping the ones you care about. Listen, I'm not a coward. I'm not scared of anybody but God himself, but God. And when you guys understand that if we stand up to these people, I didn't believe for a moment about the voting conspiracy. I didn't
Right.
believe about it. But now, everyone I'm talking to, I seem to maybe believe it. It seems like it. And you know why? Hillary Clinton's lawyer was found not guilty of stealing, making up lies, submitting. When you submit false documentation, whether you knew about it or not.
He lied to the FBI.
And why is
guy
he
with
not
it.
guilty? How is he not guilty?
Well, the judge is a good friend of his wife.
Do you believe that? And Clinton should be in jail. You know what she says? It's old news. Forget about it. But you wanted to see, not only did you want to see Trump lose the election,
Right.
you wanted to see him in jail.
Well, exactly. But Hillary's career is over. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Once you lost the second time,
Right, but her career is over.
but the point is
And-
she should be in jail for what
You're
she
right.
did.
You're right. And you know what? She could still face. She could
Nah,
still face
they're scared of the Clintons like you never seen before because Biden, what's that guy, Alibaba, what's his
Yeah.
name? Obama has
Obama.
another winner. These guys have ruined our nation. You're right, we're free, we're fighting back.
So why are you still a Democrat?
I'll tell you why. Let me explain to you. Even though I'm going around collecting signatures, I've been collecting more Republican signatures. I've collected, as of today, 1,200 Republican signatures on my independent line, which I'm in shock, compared to my 1,000 Democratic signatures, which I'm shocked there are more Republicans in my neighborhood.
No kidding.
I'm impressed.
Look, I will tell you something. It's this neighborhood, and
But it's this neighborhood.
because
We're not talking about the Asians. We're
No,
not talking about the Italian group. We're
well,
not
I'll tell you
talking
something.
about and a lot of not Latino black voters are turning Republican.
A lot because they're disenchanted. They've seen the Democratic Party taken for granted, and that's the same way the Jews should be
But
seen.
are the Republicans better?
Yeah,
Now they are.
what's
But if you
be-
go back 15 years ago,
Okay,
they
but
weren't.
But the thing is, politicians have to address.
We're in trouble. Something's wrong. He's
Pol-
going with the finger.
Politicians have to know how to address their constituents' concerns, right? So the Republican parties have been one thing ever since Donald Trump, he has created new Republicans. He has created new Republicans and grassroots movements, and as a result of that, your demographics that were never represented by that Republican Party feel closely attached to it. You have young black men and women who've seen what happened to their parents' families as a result of all the Democrats, and they're not going to take it anymore.
Somebody says here we have to watch something called 2,000 Mules by Dinesh.
Dinesh D'Souza, yes, that's
It exposes. It does it really expose?
I did not watch it, but apparently he did do a documentary on what happened with the ballot boxes. So yeah, look,
I have somebody who says that they emailed me. They want to volunteer at my soup kitchen. Guys, I love you. You should come out and help me get on the ballot. We need to win. I need volunteers. I only have 8 days left to get my signatures. I have theoretically right now I have 1,100 Democratic signatures, a little bit more. I need 2,400. I only need 850, but 2,400 he won't be able to deny me. But we're gonna.
right. So I think we need to explain that to our
We're going to do
audience.
that. But right now we're going to do a commercial. And you know what commercial we're going to do? My producer, Ezra Levy, attorney at law.
Yay.
Wow, I love you. He specializes, he's sitting across from me. He specializes in giving me a hard time. You know, today you hung up on me.
No, actually, you hung up me first.
I did hang up on you first.
So I
but then
just
you
had to- it's a
you
payback.
got me back. He says, you hung up on me, I'm hanging up on you. I said, that's stupid, Ezra. I was Anyways,
There's a miscommunication, right?
it was a communication. I love you. It was and by God, I'm dead meat.
You're gonna be walking to the grandkids.
I know, but last week, me and Linda walked to Avram's house, and we got there. Nobody was there. And then we walked to my other son's house. No, so we sat there waiting for them to come home. Linda says, "Let's go." No, I'm going to make them suffer. I'm going to wait for them and tell them how long they made me suffer. And they leave their doors wide open, crazy boys. Ezra Levy, specializing in all criminal matters, including weapons possession, drug offenses, domestic violence, theft offenses, assaults, DWI, criminal and family court, order of protection. You're just great, Ezra. 917-755-1187. Please tell me you know the number.
917-755-1187. And you have it on speed dial.
Okay, I do. You know that.
I know. I
do.
hear from you at least 5 times a day.
You do. And you know what? I love you. And you're very smart, and you give me a lot of good advice. Ezra Levy Law Firm at gmail.com. EZRALEVYLAWFIRM at gmail.com. Guys, I want to give him a lot of business. I want to keep him busy so he can protect our community. And when I get elected, I need a good chief of staff. Ezra Levy, attorney at law, 917-755-1187. I love you. Now, can I tell you my joke finally?
Go ahead.
Okay, here's my joke. You know, I volunteer at the local hospital.
Mm-hmm.
So this week I had one of my mental attacks, and I told Linda she has to come with me because I want to entertain the patients this week at the local hospital. She said, "How are you going to do that?" I took my son's portable musical keyboard. You know what that is?
The Casios.
Right. And I went in there and I told some funny jokes and I sang some funny songs at the patients' beds. I thought it was cool. So when I finished, I said my farewell and I said, "I hope you all get better soon." All of a sudden, Linda answered, "Heshy, I hope you get better soon."
That's funny.
Of course you would pick on this side. I hate you for that.
Oh, yeah, come on.
I
You
couldn't
walked
believe-
right into
I
that.
know, but everybody.
You walked right
all
into
those
that, my
old
friend.
guys, they love Linda. They were just laughing. I said, "That's not funny." You know what I mean? I said, "Look, the ugly tie she bought me." But okay, I got her. She got me good. Anyways, I want to talk to you about something. I just want to tell you about crime. I don't know why we're letting this mayor get away with it. You know, there was a church, $2 million stolen tabernacle right during the daylight. I'm not finished. The weekend carnage on the Democratic-run cities have a massive spike. Wait. Murder, violent crime over only the holiday weekend.
Right.
I don't understand. You got to explain this to me.
So traditionally,
One last thing. The NYPD released a video that I posted of a knife-wielding man who stabbed an elderly woman in a Brooklyn juice bar.
So let's.
And I'm not going to even talk all the other stuff I wrote
Right.
you down, the rapes,
Yeah,
beating a Chinese guy into things, anti-Semitism. Right. I mean, he has no control, and he gets on there and we're letting him get away with it. Why are we letting him get away
We
with it?
should. But why did you vote for him?
I did not.
Oh, okay, that's the question. You see, that's the problem. It's because we always complain. It's this defeat. This goes back to why I don't think you should be running as a Democrat. We have this defeatist attitude that a Republican cannot win in New York. It might be true. It might be true, but we had 2 excellent mayors for 20 years.
It's
between
mayor. Mayor only
Well, Adams
because
is only
mayor
mayor.
is everybody.
Adams is a mayor.
Yeah, but again, a mayor is one. Everybody goes to vote
Have
for
a
the
George
final
Pataki.
line.
We had Pataki. We had Pataki for 12 years as governor.
Right. But I want you to know something. You know, when I'm running around now and people are telling me, "Heshy, you have no chance to it." I said, "But you're signing my ballot. Look, I got 2,000 signatures. I'm the one doing stuff. You call me when you need me." Yeah, but we're gonna vote for him. He's a name brand. I said, "But I don't understand. He does nothing for you."
That's the problem.
So they're saying we know he does nothing, but at least
But he
he's
has it in.
stable. He's stable, and if we need, I said, but even when you need something, he doesn't help you. You can't find him. You come to me.
But they come to you. They come to you when you can't help.
And they really do. That's the problem. It's not. And I had a guy here today in the office with my son, and he says to me, "Hesh, you got to stop making the funny videos." I said, "Why?" "I want to entertain the people, and I want to give a message." When you're a little kid, you're sitting in school, you're learning the ABC, it's boring. But if you make it fun with the puppets and the Sesame Street, you learn and you like it better. So I try to send my message with a little love, with a little hope, with a little bit of fun. No, you have to be more serious, Heshy. But being more serious, I am more serious. I made a serious video tonight. He says people will take it more serious. I'm serious because I see them calling me from garbage on the streets. Heshy, we need a new light. I was helping somebody recently with a light. They're building. You concentrate more on what you do, Heshy. I do, but when the people come to me that you see, they're arrested. Who do I call? Somebody dies in his house. Who do you think they call to go fetch
And
him?
by the way, I did speak to. Heshy's not making this up, by the way.
Tell
Last week, one of my clients, was a friend, has a common friend with, or had a common friend with Heshy, and unfortunately, he passed away. And Heshy went and
Found him.
not only found him, but made sure that the authorities did the right thing and kept some dignity at what was going on. I'm sure the family and his friends are very
They
appreciative.
did. They called me today. They thanked me. They invited me tomorrow to the memorial.
They have a wake.
Not a wake. They had something and they cremated the body. That's what
Oh, they already did?
And they do something called a memorial. They take
Okay.
the ashes in a chapel, and then everybody gets up and speaks and so on. They invited me to come speak, and I'm thinking of it. It's not a church. It's a memorial for the young man, and he was a good kid.
I met him. I did meet him.
He was a
was
nice
very
boy,
nice man.
very nice man, and that's the way it's supposed to be. He was a guy who was colorblind. What does
Yes,
that
he was.
mean? He did not care black, brown, white, Asian, tall, fat. He Jew, Christian, and he was Catholic. He was a colorblind man, and I am that way too. That he liked everybody, and I was very proud of him. I want to ask you another question.
Could we I just want to make one point. You were talking about the spike in crimes. So that just generally
You
speaking,
all need to be armed.
Ah,
Hey, it's Mr.
Chris,
Messi.
Chris.
Okay, so just
Go
Chris,
ahead,
before
go. You go get Chris. I want you to ask
so
him.
traditionally, this doesn't apply anymore because of just New York, and every Democrat-run city has been going.
By the way, they love you smile as you
Thank
smile.
you. My
Smile.
wife married me for my smile.
it has
Anyway,
to.
Powers that be have thrown you to the wolves. They've disarmed the honest people.
right, but Chris, before that, look. Traditionally speaking, when the weather gets better, you get more street crimes. That's
Yeah.
okay. So the
Yes.
fact is, we're really not a powder keg because the police have no control of our cities to begin with, and our mayor has no care to take control of the city. And now with the weather getting better and kids and teenagers who do these crimes, predominantly are young people who do crimes, they're not going to be in school, and we know they're not going to be working. So
That's
it's
right.
only going to get worse. I hate to say it, folks. It's only going to
Correct.
get worse.
So
I remember
Christopher,
every spring, the
I-
Chicago Police Department, the chief would say, "'Tis springtime in Chicago, when a young man's fancy turns to rape and armed robbery."
Yeah, you can always tell it's the street.
But
It's the street
Chris,
fight with bottles.
I love you, Chris. I love you a lot, and I agree with you. You got me to agree with the Second Amendment and with your gun. I agree.
You bet.
The problem I have is, I'm not going to tell you with Texas. I'm not going to mention to you Tulsa. I'm not going to tell you Buffalo. They're shooting us. They're shooting us, and there's
Yeah,
no
but Heshy-
control.
but-
I know.
These
It's
are not gun crimes. These are mental illness
Right,
crimes.
exactly.
I watched the video of that evil sleaze lunatic grabbing that woman's hair on the subway. If that had been Florida, he would have been dead in 3 seconds.
By the way, but the thing is,
how do you talk about the police chief? They say handled the whole incident in Texas no good. Is that true? What do you think?
They froze. They froze. Yeah, you have to
It's
say.
very hard to know. It's very hard to play Monday morning quarterback. I've heard 9 different versions. I've heard all the way from when the police arrived, they thought that the evil sleazebag had killed everyone in that room, and therefore their sole goal was to keep him in that room because they thought everyone was already dead while they evacuated everybody else, so he couldn't get out and away. Now people are crying and screaming because a little girl, and it's a nightmare of epic proportions, was calling 911 from
Wow.
in the
Yeah.
room at that time.
I heard that.
This is a coordination issue. In the chaos of war, which this was, in the chaos, God knows how many thousands of 911 calls are coming in, the expectation after the fact that people are going to sort out the signal from the noise, pick the one phone call from 700, convey it to the front line who are making decisions. It didn't work. Would we love it all to work perfectly? Would we like the world to be a movie? Yes, we would. It was chaos, and they're mortified. I guarantee you, those cops now knowing what had been the state in that room are mortified,
Yeah.
and I would not be surprised to find that some of them commit suicide in the coming days
well,
and months.
they're all going to be out of a job in a couple of weeks. But the thing is, Chris, I think the problem is this: after Columbine, the protocol for police action with the active shooter in the schools changed. And that is, you go in and you sort it out later. And these cops did not. And these cops did not go in. That's the bottom line. Whether it was a tactical decision or not, they broke protocol. They broke protocol. So they either froze, they were either untrained. And let's be honest, no small town of a population of 20,000 is going to have a police force large enough and trained well trained enough to take care of this.
But in some ways, I got to take exception to that. It doesn't matter because everyone who responsibly owns a firearm in this country is absolutely ready at a moment's notice.
And that's what happened. And that's what happened. And that's exactly what happened. And this is exactly where. Look, I've said this. I'm not sure if you heard earlier. I don't own a gun. I don't want to own a gun. I don't need a gun. I live in thank God, right now in a relatively safe neighborhood of Brooklyn, if they exist anymore. Okay, I don't need one.
May that be true forever.
That may not be true
that's
forever.
only where he lives,
But
not when he travels. When he travels, he's not safe.
No,
Where he
but the thing
lives,
is,
that's it.
but-
Only his
but the
little
thing-
world.
But the thing is, if you live in a high crime infested area in New York, that doesn't make you a criminal. That makes you a citizen who's just in a bad place. Those people have a right to defend themselves. Why should they be victims, especially when our cops are told to stand down?
Yeah.
Yes,
And
they
the
should
bottom
be.
line
They
is
should.
our cops are told to stand down. So if the police are not going to do their jobs because the mayor's stopping them and because the city council is defunding them, okay, that's where the Second Amendment kicks in.
So I want to ask both of you a question. One, the legal side, and Chris first. Chris, you're right.
Yep.
Here you go. Everybody should own a gun. Somebody gets
Yep.
killed. So let me read you two things. One gun maker, $73 million payout. And now there's another one for $100 million. For they're suing him from not the Colombian. Which one is it? Some New York shooting for $100
Sandy Hook.
million. Right.
Sandy Hook.
So my question to you is, if you're telling me this is allowed, the gun maker, it's not the gun maker's fault, according to you, right?
It's not the gun
people's
maker's
Of course
fault.
it's not.
So
It's
then,
not.
how
Of course
come they're
not.
paying out $73 million and $100
Because
million?
I'm sure Chris is going to tell you the same thing. Okay, because I'm going to tell you the legal perspective. You're going to have you have your trials where these mass murders happen. That's your jury pool. So
Yeah.
right. So you're going to go to Sandy Hook. Everyone in Sandy Hook knows the victim. They probably were.
Yeah.
They were probably at the funeral.
Still, it's not legal to sue somebody.
No.
who didn't
So
do
hear me
nothing
out.
wrong.
That's your
Whether
jury
it's
pool.
legal or not,
That's
this
your
is the
jury
jury
pool.
system.
That's your jury
Forget
pool.
the jury pool. The
No,
judge
you
has
can't
a right.
forget. You can't forget your jury pool.
The judge has a right to overrule a stupid verdict.
Okay, guess what? The judge.
He
an
is the head jury.
The judge is an
But
elected official.
But the judge is an elected
The judge is
official
an
in New
elected
York
official.
is probably
So-
a Democrat.
Exactly.
So,
the
here we
bottom
go.
line is-
You're telling me
So
that
the
we're not
company-
allowed
yes.
to do it, but we're corrupt, so we do it anyway.
Exactly. So Heshy, the problem is when these gun company, when this
Welcome to
company
planet
makes,
Earth.
when these gun companies make these settlements, okay, it's a cost
So
benefit
these
analysis.
Cost-benefit
It's a
analysis.
cost-
They
so-
decide it's
yeah.
cheaper to settle.
It's going to be cheaper,
absolutely.
I got you.
and they'll
So-
raise the price
so-
on their guns.
So now let me go back. These guys are
Yep.
making so much money that they don't care that
Exactly.
people are getting
This is
down.
a- this is a-
let's be careful.
this is
Let's
the price
not
of-
judge.
this is the cost of
Let's
doing
not
business.
Judge how much so much money is,
No,
right?
but look, it's
I'm
the
sorry,
cost of doing
Chris.
business,
Chris,
Chris.
$73
But I-
million for me is a lot of money.
Yeah, it is. But my point being, having known what goes into the manufacture of quality firearms, right? It's not linear. It's not like a handgun that costs $800 is providing a 50% profit margin to the manufacturer and the vendor, and one that costs $6,000 is providing an equally large amount. Often they're not, right? It's higher quality, it's higher accuracy, all that sort of stuff, like any other product. It's a nightmare. I mean, as got the right point. This is a cost-benefit decision based on what people believe are going to be the political winds prevailing in a courtroom where they're going to show horrifying pictures of shot children, and it'll be
Yeah.
a miracle they don't go bankrupt at the ruling. So they're going to write a check. I think it's absolutely insane and misplaced. I understand the rage, but I actually happen to know what the family that lived across the street from that loser, right? And the main problem there was the kid was a loser. The father wasn't in the home. The mother was, insane enough to think that having little Adam, play with guns at the range is a good idea. None of this is a gun problem. This is a cultural problem and a mental health problem, uniformly.
Chris, I agree with you, but I do have one question. Okay, I mean the knee-jerk reactions right now is let's limit either multi-capacity weapons where you could put more multiple rounds or so-called assault rifles because every weapon's an assault weapon, but that's just not the point. So let's the knee-jerk reaction is to make it on the gun, and I agree with you. The knee-jerk reaction should be let's look at who's perpetrating these murders.
But you know what?
But the thing is,
we
you're a
want
big
to,
second
we want to teach our children sex. We want to teach our children transgender. We want to teach our
we
children.
don't.
We
We
I'm saying,
don't.
but
No, we
that's
don't.
what.
No, we don't. That's the
I-
problem. You see, that's the problem.
No, I'm not
But-
getting to. But my point here is, I was watching a documentary of a young guy taking kids in his town and teaching them how to respect the gun, how to understand
exactly.
the gun from the young ages, how to be scared of a gun, how to. And so why aren't we doing that in our schools and say, listen, guns are bad, and you have to be careful of it, and you're allowed to use it, but if you're not going to use it correctly, you're going to hurt other people, and we have to teach.
I want to ask you a question. How many kids? We all drive. Our kids see us drive.
Yeah.
Right. Our kids see us drive. Hopefully, drive safely.
Right.
Does that make them safe drivers?
No.
Okay. So the thing is, you have to teach them, and they have to be willing to
Right.
be taught.
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
So now we live in a country where it's in half the country it's illegal to teach your kids how to use a gun,
Right.
because you can't get one yourself. I mean,
Right,
New York,
which is insane.
Right, New York
And that
City.
has-
New York City.
insane.
I cannot get. I'm an attorney.
Right.
I have a clean record. I have no reason not to be able to own a gun. If I applied, I would probably be denied. I'm a law-abiding
Which is
citizen.
insane.
I'm a law-abiding
Which is
citizen.
insane. New York State and New York City have no constitutional right
Exactly.
to ban you from owning a firearm.
No,
Period.
Chris, I agree with you, but the problem.
And every single honest New Yorker, the only thing that gun control does is empower criminals.
That's
And
exactly what it
all
is.
of the danger and violence in America is in Democrat-run cities with strong gun control. And whenever I've actually gotten some of my crazier, more left friends, because I have some still, they finally got this and said, "Here's my example to you. You claim that if we have the political will, we can overturn the Second Amendment, we can have gun confiscation the way these idiots did in Australia, and it's all going to go well." My contract argument to that is, from 1920 to 1948, in mandatory Palestine, the British Imperial Army enforced a firearms ban on Jew and Arab alike. They said, no one here is allowed to own a gun except for the British military. We know how that worked out. Jew and Arab alike built armaments factories under the very feet of the occupying army in a tiny sliver of land, right? So if the British Army, not known for subtlety of punishment, in an era without the internet and the era without a camera on every phone, couldn't get guns out of people's hands, how is that going to happen in a nation of 3.5 million square miles and 400 million guns?
We're going to leave it to
never
Beto.
going to happen.
No, what we're going to do is we'll leave it to Beto O'Rourke.
We're gonna switch. We're gonna switch topics in a minute, but I got to do another commercial real quickly. And this is my friend, attorney James Meadows, who's a great guy. By the way, he's making a wedding. He invited me, and James, I'm gonna be there, and it's gonna be great. He's gonna have a great wedding, and I'm gonna go party with him because he's helping me with my tickets too. I have him on speed dial, by the way. What should I tell you? I'm always in trouble, Chris. I don't know.
That's a good endorsement.
when I went to-
He has me on speed dial. Chris.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I think once Heshy's elected, he's going to get himself a driver. Okay.
Gosh,
That's
no.
a good expense.
I need to. I need to drive myself. I've been doing it. Attorney's Office, James Meadows, highly ranked traffic lawyer, former criminal lawyer, dedicated to all moving violations throughout New York State. James handles all points-related moving violations in New York City, Long Island, and upstate New York. Speeding, red lights, cell phones, stop signs, failure to lead, and improper turns and traffic offenses with stiff penalties, including huge fines, points increased, improper insurance rates, suspensions of your driver's license, and even being arrested. The law offices of James Meadows is your best chance of beating your traffic ticket. So call him, 845-TICKETS. Come on, you can remember that one.
845 tickets.
You have to say TICK.
TICKETS.
Wow, you're not good. 845-842-5387, 845-842-5387, or you can text him at 917-856-1247, 917-856-1247. Give him the business. He's making a wedding. He needs the money.
All kidding aside, though, James, he's a very
He's a
good,
great
very
guy.
good at what he does.
By the
I
way,
know.
he's-
I remember seeing his father in court many times.
His
Also,
email is jamesmeadows@gmail.com, JAMESMEADOWS@gmail.com. Or again, 845-TICKETS. He's really great. I really enjoy him, and I love talking to him, and he texts me from time to time. Heshy, how you doing? How you feeling? And please don't get a ticket. And I always tell him I'm good to go.
Can we return just to one question I have for Chris?
Go ahead.
Okay, Chris.
Do
Again, let's go back to New
hold
Jersey.
on, hold on. They're saying that there's a big Supreme Court ruling coming on concealed carry in New York. Is that true?
All right, so there's a lawsuit going around. New York, many people have challenged the fact that New York you can't get a gun, a concealed carry weapon, and there's, as I said, there's no as Chris says, there's no Second Amendment in New York. So people have been fighting for it, and hopefully we have a Supreme Court that's going to actually make New York follow the Constitution.
That means we go get a gun and they can't
That
stop
means
us.
no,
That's right.
No, that means they're going to find another way to stop us, but at least
Right.
this way we go down. Again, that's if things turn out. But I do have a question for you, Chris.
Sure.
Okay. Are you when it comes to you in Second Amendment? Is it an absolute right to you that there's no limits, there's no restrictions? So, for example, for example, we have age restrictions on some
Yeah, I get
licenses.
it. No, I understand the question. I think that the rational restriction comes in from, again, the common practice at the time, and as written, and what well-regulated militia means. And so certainly during the colonies, if Uncle Jimmy down the road was a raging drunk and a lunatic, the local constable prevented him from owning a firearm. So there are always going to be exceptions, and there should be. Right? There's nothing at all absolute about the Second Amendment in terms of letting the evil lunatic down the street who rants and raves about racism, letting that jackass have a gun is probably a really stupid idea. But for those Americans, but it has to be a negative.
Yeah, but
It can't be a positive right. It has to be a negative right.
Okay, but here's the slippery slope. Once you let the government decide, and again, I hear you. It's very rational. I tend to agree with you.
And that's why
I
this
tend
has
to agree with
be
you.
Local community decisions. If this is any of this is going to work, it has to be local community decision. It cannot be the federal government reaching into a town in Ohio and saying you can't have a gun.
No. I want to cover two serious more subjects before we go, and this is one of Chris's favorite subjects. Chris, I got angry last week as well. Mr. de Blasio, or Blabio, or whatever we call him, William.
Comrade Warren Wilhelm Jr.
Yeah, Nazi pig. You know that he's running for Congress against, thank God, we have somebody normal up there, Brian Robinson, a young, good guy who was on the show. De Blasio, I mean, they even gave him a piece of borough park, and he comes in there. This is a guy who told our councilman about 2 years ago that he has to apologize for stating that Palestine shouldn't be a state, or that Israel should not be, you cannot. This is a guy who went out and just went against the Jews during the pandemic. Here's a guy that actually thinks he's going to represent us, and our people are kissing him again, our politicians. That's my point. The politicians are leading us by our nose, and we see it that this guy heard us, shut us down, and we're going to elect him. I mean, Chris, in your opinion, as an outside New Yorker, do you think he's going to win Congress? I mean, then we're dead. But do you think he has a chance?
You know what I find.
Not what you hope. I want to know your real.
No. I'm about to tell you what I think. I think, unfortunately, the late great P.J. O'Rourke said it best when he said that let's never forget that ignorance is a renewable resource. So I find it absolutely baffling the degree to which I hear completely insane things come from people I've formerly respected in New York. Because my hometown, we miss it desperately, but it's madness. It's madness.
Yeah.
You pay psychotic taxes, psychotic costs. These people do what they want, and they depend upon the apathy of the voters. They don't go vote. They don't pay attention. I don't know. And then they bitch and they moan about things that are bad. How do they not make the connection between the idiots in office and the misery of life in the streets?
I tell the people too, you bitch and moan. When I tell you how to help, I have a guy that last week, I got a complaint against doing some work illegally in his house. He came to me, says, Heshy, what should I do? I said, listen, stop working. Let's get you legal. Oh, don't worry, Heshy, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to wait. I gave him the rules that the complaint goes away. They come back and check. Everything was good. He again started working illegally, got caught. He comes to me, what should I do now? I said, 1 minute. I told you to make this legal will cost you maybe 10 or 12 grand. You now have fines of about $10,000. Can you stop? He said, no, I'm still going to continue. I said, then why are you coming to me? And he sees the pain, and I don't know what to do. And I feel bad because he is going to end up by me. And he's going to be in so much trouble that I can't help him.
So, Heshy, I repeat my question. Why are you still a Democrat?
So again,
I mean, I'm going to keep repeating this question.
I
This
would.
is the problem.
I
This is
want to
the
be a
problem.
Republican, but the problem again, you keep making me a mistake. Look at Ina Vernikova.
Yeah.
and she is
won.
right. And what has she done? You know what she's
It
done?
doesn't matter what
you
she
know what
did,
she screamed at this week,
Heshy-
Chris. I want to
Heshy-
tell you what she did.
Heshy,
CUNY colleges. She's taking away funding from one of them because they support BDE, whatever. it is.
BDS.
BDS. I agree with
yeah.
that. But you know how many important things that she should be dealing with, how much important legislation she should be dealing with. Because CUNY takes in the Jewish kids. CUNY is working with us. You're right, they're bad. She should sanction them. She should make sure that all these
I've
guys
got a thought for you.
they should be
I got
fired.
a thought
Maybe
for you,
fire
Heshy.
them.
I'm
The older,
Go ahead.
the older I've gotten, the more I've come to understand the absolute sheer, complete brilliance of Immanuel Kant, who posited that the only way to live a moral life is to only do things a priori correctly. Meaning, you don't try to say, well, I'd like to do this, but I think if I do this, then so. No, don't play chess with life. You're a Republican. It's time to accept it. It's time to move on. It's time to throw out the shackles of the Communist Party that you're part of. And enough.
But Heshy, and the thing is, I'm not
you
just
know
saying.
what, Chris, I am.
I'm not
Once
saying.
after this election, I promise you, I'm getting me, Linda, and Yaakov to register as Republican. The only problem is
You'd be on
I'm
the
gonna
ballot by now.
Yeah, but being on the ballot is not enough.
That's
for
not
me.
true. It's a
I
start.
want to get
Because you
then
know-
I'd have to make a deal with the Democrats anyways.
No, you don't. You see,
You know.
the bottom line
Look-
is.
look-
Last time you made a deal, they took it from you.
Yeah, they
Right,
took it, right?
I know,
You had
I know.
it, right? You thought you
Yeah,
had it.
because I
Go
wasn't
right to the
smart
people.
enough.
Tell them the story.
Yeah,
No, but-
I was stupid because I let them.
I'll fly up to New York and I'll introduce you to the Republican Party. They'll welcome you with open arms.
And-
It'll be
and-
nice.
Well, you know what?
We'll
I
have
called
drinks.
I called the Republican. I called one of the guys, Republican Party, and I says, "Hey, you know, can I have a shot at your thing?" He says, "Well, Simcha Felder did us a favor, so we're giving him the nomination." I said, "But that's not right."
But that's a
He's a
problem.
Democrat.
So, but you see, that's the thing. If you expose the corruption, the Republicans are willing to change. It's not the
Yep.
old Republican Party. I used to be a
Yep.
Democrat. I changed parties as soon as 11 years ago when they started passing when Andrew Cuomo was already becoming the progressive leader of the world. Okay.
Yep.
The handwriting was on the wall. I changed parties. And maybe you're a silent minority in New York or a vocal minority, but the bottom line is, especially with the Jewish vote, the Jewish bloc, if there's enough Jews because we're politically conservative to begin with.
Yeah.
So if they see that we're voting as Republicans or voting as conservatives, if not Republicans, even if it's the same candidate across endorsements, okay, they're looking on how you vote, which party's getting the vote.
Yep.
And that's going to change. That gives us the power that we're losing.
It has
Because
to
when-
change.
when
New
you
York
have-
is
when-
spiraling.
because-
Bankers are getting shot in the face in the subway going to brunch.
Right?
know.
The liberal Jewish vote is not as big as it used, or it's not as controlling as it used to
But I'm
be.
not looking at even the Jewish vote. I'm looking at the black vote. When I speak to a lot of my black brothers and
Exactly.
neighbors, they're saying, yeah, you know, we have nobody better than de Blasio.
But the thing is-
sure, we were going to vote for Mayor Adams. He's black. I said, but that's not what the objective of black or white or Asian. We need somebody there to make, you know, somebody just made a comment, by the way, that after the midterm elections, the Democrats will forget about gun control completely, all of a sudden.
That's not true.
No?
No, that's not true. I mean, first of all, Joe Biden, when he was the vice president, his pet project, other than making sure that his family was taken care of by the Ukrainians and the Russians, his second pet project,
I knew you'd laugh, Chris. That was good. The first
Thank
good
you.
joke you
True.
made in a while. Very good.
His main job was he was literally the gun control czar of America. That's what Obama appointed him to do is deal
Yeah.
with guns.
And he
ridiculous.
didn't do a good job.
He didn't. He's never done a good job.
Right.
But the thing is, he has still another 2 years after the midterms and a few months after the midterms. He's not going to give this up. He's not going to give this up.
But there's no there there. And
But there's never there
that's the
there.
enormous problem.
But there's never a there. I mean, look, we had when what happened down in on Valentine's Day down in Florida a few years ago, right? We had with Nicholas Cruz, another deranged moron, right?
Don't give
Parkland.
these losers. Don't ever say
right,
their names.
You're right.
Don't ever
With the
give them more
Parkland,
fame.
Parkland High School, right? So
Yeah.
Donald Trump was about to do the knee-jerk reaction and say, "Look, let's get some gun restrictions." The Republicans say, "Look, we're in power now." But even they
Yeah.
actually, so.
But they wanted to do something, and part of that, and that.
What
that-
they should have done that didn't happen last week is that door should have been locked at that school.
Yeah.
You know,
but here's
that door
something
should
that
have been locked.
your listeners want to hear.
I read
Your
that.
listeners want to hear this because not everyone pays attention to the details because they want to drown you in horrible details so you don't see it. That loser down in Parkland, he should not have been allowed to pass that background check.
You're right.
And you know why? You know why he was not on the list to be banned?
Why?
Because of Obama administration, Department of Education policies. Obama and that sleazebag attorney general he had didn't like the fact it was that whole disparate impact nonsense. They didn't like the fact that in certain states, when there were crimes reported to the police about behavior in schools for children under 18, he didn't like the fact that more black or brown children that were represented in those statistics than white or Asian students. So he demanded, in the way that only Obama could, nudge, nudge, we'll take away your funding, we'll put you on the front page as being racist. So he demanded that when a kid that was not white did something crazy and wrong involving the police, it was not reported to the authorities.
Right.
That crazy kid had 40 home visits by the sheriff and police because of domestic violence issues.
And the thing is,
And
up in
had that been
Buffalo,
reported, he could not have passed the
and
background
the
check.
same thing up in Buffalo. I mean, the shooter
Yes.
in Buffalo. Okay, he actually had his teachers called him, his classmates
Correct.
called him. They did
Correct.
mental health evaluation. The
So
problem
Democrats
is once he turned
scream
18,
about
but once he
background
turned 18,
checks,
once he
and
turned
they-
18, your record's
They
clean.
hobble.
Exactly.
Well, no, not for firearms related offenses.
But no,
no.
but you're right. But that's exactly. But the thing is, that's how he passed.
Now, can I ask you a
The
question, guy?
people need to understand the vast hypocrisy of the Democrats on this nonsense.
I still-
They scream for something called background checks, and then they actively prohibit the data about those background checks going onto
I
those
was
records.
watching a video of a 13-year-old kid. He went to buy lottery tickets. They turned him down. He went to buy magazines. They turned him down. He went to buy liquor. He turned him down. He went to a gun show, and they handed him a gun. He handed them cash, and he walked out with this rifle. Now,
Wait a second,
maybe
there's
it's
a
not a
difference-
Where
bad
did that
idea.
happen? I don't believe
I
that at
saw
all.
the video. I'll
Where
send
did
it
that
to you. I
happen?
promise you. I'll
There's
send
something
you the
called
video.
editing.
What?
There's something called editing.
Yeah,
Come on, let's be
and
honest.
there's something called a setup. I go to a lot of gun shows. You want to know the main thing that is prohibited at all gun shows?
What?
Video filming, for precisely that reason.
Really? Oh, I didn't know
Yes.
that. But it could have been a
Nonsense.
hidden video.
So
but
I
okay.
go. So I will go and I buy a lot of antique shotguns at gun shows. That's often where they are, right? The dealers, deal with the states. One of the oldest jokes in the world is that my biggest fear is that when I die, my wife will sell my guns for what I told her they cost me, right? So I often get phenomenal deals on old German shotguns, Italian shotguns. And when I go to those shows, since my son comes with me and we go skeet shooting, he also handles the firearms. They're all unloaded. And so if someone were standing there with a camera and they were to film him and then they edit it, yeah, you're looking at a underage child handling a firearm at a gun show. I completely don't believe that story as you just
I'm
described.
going to send it to you, and I want you to tell me because they have the picture of the kid, they have a whole speech with him, and so on. I want to just first of all, I agree, and don't get angry at me that
And
they
it's a
should-
setup. What gun rights enthusiast would agree to that nonsense, right?
Well, in
First
Midtown,
off.
in Mid-America, they let young kids 15 fly airplanes. Why not handle guns at 13 and 14?
Well, look, if it's done safe, there's no problem with it.
I agree.
No problem.
There's no problem if it's unsafe.
You can drive around out here, and once you get 10 minutes away from the coast of Florida, it might as well be 1750. There's nothing out there. So if a 13-year-old could steer and see over the dashboard, sure he could drive. Why not? What's he gonna hit?
But I do agree that we should maybe raise the age, like smoking, like
No.
drinking. Why not? Why not have gun control till 20? Not buy till 21.
Why not? Because an 18-year-old man can go off to war and die for his
So
country.
then why don't we let
and
him
he can't
smoke or
have
drink?
He should.
I agree.
The laws we have are restrictive and they're infantile,
You
and they're
know-
part of a nanny state that wants to tell everyone what to do.
I know. I disagree that
It limits on any of this stuff.
I still disagree that an 18 should be shipped off. The 18-year-old
Well,
should be trained.
the bottom line is an 18-year-old. Our military is comprised of the majority of our military, our enlisted members, are between the ages of 18 and 23.
Really?
Sure.
And then afterwards, they don't continue on?
After that, they come back. They come on the GI Bill.
I
they
think
get some school.
everything would go a lot more smoothly if actually the minimum requirement to be in the military were that you were 35 and you had kids. If that was our military, things would run a lot more smoothly.
No, because you'll have a lot more suicide.
Before we get to the end of the show, I want to ask you guys one more thing. We went through 2 years of lockdowns and fake pandemics and real pandemics.
You did, we didn't.
I know, and they're threatening us again. Now, today, they said that there is we are the highest cases of the monkeypox, 4 of them, by the way. And
Pox at your house.
Oh no! Here comes the monkeypox.
Yeah,
Everyone give up your civil liberties.
And that's exactly what I'm glad Chris said it, because it's a non-story.
Is it real?
It's a non-story.
Is this real? And they said somebody came in for monkeypox, and they said he just had symptoms, but
It's
he really
a
didn't have.
non-story. Yes,
It's not a non. That's how regular
monkeypox is.
The World Health Organization said that monkeypox is very serious and not
of course, any epidemic is serious, right?
Yeah.
The World Health Organization should be defunded completely. The U.S. should stop giving these clowns any money. The guy at the head of it is a corrupt prick funded by the Chinese Communist Party. Who possibly cares what the World Health Organization has to say about anything?
Well, it seems like they control us. They shut down the world for 2 years.
But the bottom line is this. Okay, let's go back. I agree with
How
Chris.
much money, Chris, did you lose because of this? Not that you lost it. They held you back from making, and you did lose because World Health Organization just shut. And by the way, Chris, I was reading up that the Antarctica, and I was watching this, and I saw a documentary, has so much coal, so much minerals, they can last us for the next millennium. What are we bitching about? I don't understand what we're bitching about.
Renewable.
We've got enough materials in this country to be a net energy exporter.
And we were. We were only 15 months ago.
There's everything
I mean,
we
we were
need to build
net
a critical mineral supply chain domestically in the United States. This is what I do for a living. It is all right here. It's all fine. The problem is American liberals want to run the power grid on unicorn farts and rainbows. And they have this fantasy about net zero and batteries and all this nonsense. And there's nothing better than an American liberal to sound all high and mighty. But when it comes down to it, they certainly don't want those dirty mines and mineral mines in this country. Oh, no.
So how do we stop
somewhere
this?
else.
Chris, I understand.
How you stop it? Well, November. Vote Republican in November.
Vote Republican.
Vote Republican in November of 2024.
So now we will
vote Republican.
We want
Vote.
Republican, and then in 4 years or 8 years, Democrats are going to get it back.
No. Not necessarily.
No.
That's not necessarily. Nobody.
Because we need to deliver. The new crop that comes in needs to deliver.
Right.
Enough of this nonsense back and forth. We are bankrupt. This country owes $100 trillion that has to be paid off in some way.
To China.
First off,
to China.
To whoever. Who cares? To whomever.
So here's my question. What would happen if America...
inflation or we're working for it?
Chris, I have a question for you. You just mentioned it, okay? What if America just decided to default on that loan? Who's going to collect it from them?
The whole world goes bankrupt.
Who cares? It's already bankrupt.
It's
a rate bankrupt.
Everything stops.
It's a rate bankrupt. You print new currency.
It's a tricky question. Here's one of the. Actually, it's funny. I put forward this proposal, and I was yelled at by members of the Trump administration and the Biden administration. I thought that we should go through the entire list of who owns Treasury bonds throughout the world, and we'll take the big whack of it owned by the Chinese Communist Party central government. We'll declare those Wuhan bonds, and we'll wipe those off. Right? Thank you. We are getting compensation for the pain you caused us. Thank you. You no longer have that. Aside from that, everyone else we're going to repay, and we're going to stop borrowing money, and we're going to cut the government. Cut. We're going to lose entire departments. HUD, education, entirely useless things that never should have started, were started as experiments. And as Milton Friedman said, there's nothing nearly so permanent in this world as a temporary government program.
Wow.
But Chris, I'm just serious. I'm not an economist. But my question.
One more commercial
go
before
ahead.
we end. And
Speak about economics.
We're going to Burke's Barber Shop, my favorite barber. He gave me a great haircut. If you see, I'm all brown again. Located at 108 Avenue R, you can reach Burke's Barber Shop at 718-758-5187. 718-758-5187, or call or text or WhatsApp Burke personally to schedule your appointment at 347-845-9131. He's my official singing barber. He has good songs. He's not like me at the hospital that doesn't know how to sing. I don't know if you heard my joke. It was a funny joke.
It was very good.
Even my boy here, Ezra, laughed. Located again at 108 Avenue I, Burke's Barber Shop, 718-758-5187, or 347-845-9131. Wait. And of course, we have my Green Line Building Solutions, preservations, development, fire department, criminal court, ECB settlements, building consultant, violations removals. And listen to me, God sakes, you crazy people, because you just keep getting in trouble. Owner compliance, contracting, license, DOB expediters. Ezra almost listened to me most of the way. That's why he only flooded a little bit his house. Professional for all your building solutions. We're located at 202 Forest Avenue, even with the parking where your father-in-law found parking. By
I
the
told
way.
him about it.
He's an older
Your
man. so-
email is still wrong on the splash page.
I
It still
know.
says Greenland, not Green Line.
What's
Fix
wrong
it.
with my producer? I'm going to have to kill him. 718-871-0382.
People can't reach you.
And you see, that's the problem. When I don't pay anybody, then we have to
I told you you have to pay a producer.
But he's getting paid. That's why he doesn't care. 718-871-0382. 718. Don't look at the email. Just call the number.
Look
718.
at the email and add an E. It's Green
We're
Line,
going to
not
fix that.
Greenland.
Producer, fix that this week or I'm going to take off my belt and beat you. 718-871-0382. I love you.
Yeah, I'm getting a phone call. Am I not? After you beat him. Anyway, so Chris, I do have a question. I'm very serious about it. The worst of it
Yep.
right now, our economy is sinking so quickly, right? Our inflation's so high.
Yep.
Wouldn't this be the time for America just to basically declare bankruptcy on our loans?
Fascinating discussion. We should have a chat about it. It would be disastrous, and we'd all be living on bread lines again.
Well,
No.
we're doing that anyway.
No.
Well, we're not doing that.
Not
No,
yet.
we're not.
And
No,
what
we're
about?
not.
But I heard Russia.
Absolutely not. I just had gnocchi with
You
with-
bourgeois.
a moment ago. You should even. Hey, look. We're all tightening our belts, right? I've gone down from Premier Crew to Deuxième Crew, and I may actually go to Vanda Tabla. So we're all making
We don't
sacrifices.
like you. I know that I had to cut down from my hairstylist to my barber at $16. But my question is, isn't Russia going to default sooner or later with everybody giving them sanctions, and then we're dead? Russia owes a lot of money.
With a long, complicated discussion, we should have a show based on it.
We will. Well, I love you
but
for joining.
Defaulting is a bad idea.
Bad
but
idea. I agree.
Generally,
It's not-
stopping spending is a great idea.
It's also not
A
honorable.
phenomenal idea.
But I want you to know, thank you, Chris, for joining me. I love you so much.
Gentlemen, it's a joy.
I
Thanks,
love you,
Chris.
Love is
Ezra.
mutual.
You were great.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to the show. Thank you, everybody, for all your comments. And they did say Borough Park did not have the measles epidemic, which is true, even though they tried to say we had it. I don't believe in monkeypox. The epidemic is over. The pandemic is over. Everybody, don't be scared. Don't let them push you around. And the police are not going to fall for it this time, at least not in my community. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the show. Join me again next week. And we have a holiday, by the way, Chris. Sunday,
Yeah,
Monday.
What's the Shabbos? Yeah.
Saturday night, Sunday, Monday. So if you want to reach
Excellent.
me, just come over to the house. We're going to have extra food. I'm not picking up the phones. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Chris. You're delicious. I love you. Ezra, you're great.
Thank you.